Common vocabs for our Ielts hard level. 31 to 60 vocabulary. Criteria. The measures by which something is judged or decided. Example. A good TOEFL essay meets a few criteria, including good structure, clear ideas, and natural vocabulary. Consist, which means to be made of. For example, the US consists of 50 states. Area, which means a range of subjects or studies, a field, a discipline. For example, researchers working in many different areas, from psychology to physics, will be able to use the new type of plastic. Perceive, which means to be aware of, to sense or feel. For example, if hunters are skilled, the animals will not perceive their presence. Derive, usually be derived from, to come from, originate from. For example, many European languages are derived at least partly from Latin. Diverse, which means having many different types. Example, the student population is incredibly diverse at South State University, with students from 30 different countries. Retain, to keep, to continue to have or contain. Example, originally from France, Jean retains a hint of her French accent even today. Orient, usually to be oriented to move into a position in line with some specific point. Example, the statues appear to be oriented toward the sunrise. Usually to orient yourself to explore and become comfortable with. Example, it took a few weeks to orient myself in the new job, but I feel comfortable now. Component, a part of a whole. Example, many electronics are made of thousands of smaller components and wires. Deduce, to come to a conclusion through logic and evidence, to figure out. Example, by analyzing the bones, we can deduce when the animal lived and, maybe, how it died. Objective, a goal. Example, the objective of the TOEFL is to measure your total English ability. Based in fact, not an opinion, not from personal beliefs or ideas. Example, we can objectively measure how spicy a pepper is, but how we feel about that spiciness is not objective. Alter, to change, to adjust. Example, magazines heavily alter the photos they publish of celebrities. Welfare, the health and happiness of a person or group. Example, a perfect government would care more about the welfare of its people than anything else. Aspect. Example, the three most important aspects to think about when learning a language are grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Discrete, separate, not the same thing, and with no parts in common. Example, your left arm and right arm are controlled by two discrete areas of the brain. Principle, a rule or idea that makes the base for a system, often moral. Example, the principles at the heart of the new religion are the same as many central beliefs of Christianity. Facilitate, to make easier. Example, classical music, unlike many types of music, will generally facilitate learning and improve memory. Scheme, a large plan. Example, Microsoft's marketing scheme for their new tablet computer was less than successful. The system by which something is arranged. Example, the modern scheme for naming different types of plants and animals started around 1800. Capacity, the amount or volume something can hold. Example, the hotel is full to maximum capacity. There are no empty rooms. Ability, especially mental. Example, few birds have the capacity to recognize themselves when looking in a mirror. Most act as though there is a second bird behind the glass. Monitor. To watch the quality or progress of something over time. Example, we have been carefully monitoring the amount of salt in our oceans for the last 50 years. Something or somebody which monitors. Example, heart rate monitors can be used for both medicine and exercise. Secrete. To produce a liquid from or within a living thing. Example, saliva is created in the mouth constantly, but it is secreted most rapidly when eating or drinking. Compulsory. Required by rule. Example, although she had always hated writing, Mary found that the compulsory intro to writing class taught her valuable skills. Twilight. The time of evening before complete darkness. Example, the brightest handful of stars first become visible at twilight, but most stars stay hidden until the full darkness of night has fallen. Incentive. A promised reward to motivate. Example, Tom knew none of his friends would help him move to his new house without an incentive, so he promised to buy everybody pizza at the end of the day. Successor. A person who has a role after a previous person. Example, U.S. President James Buchanan didn't know what to do when the Civil War started, but fortunately his successor, Abraham Lincoln, was a wise leader. Vanquish. To win completely in a competition or fight. Example, modern medicine has nearly vanquished some diseases that only 2 generations ago might have been deadly. Rustic. Of the countryside, simple and old-fashioned. Example, the artist was known for painting rustic landscapes since there were always cows and farms in his pictures. Perplex. To confuse somebody. Example, even skilled mathematicians are sometimes perplexed by physics, since the logic comes not from abstract rules but from the physical world. Fluctuate. To go up and down regularly in amount. Example, while the light of the sun appears constant from day to day, the light of the moon fluctuates over the course of a month. Delusion. An incorrect idea that somebody believes strongly. Example, I think his dream of living in wealthy Beverly Hills is a delusion, but he continues to tell people that is where he will be living in a year. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment.